So the storage industry is evolving really fast. I know I've said that before, but now I really mean it. That's why I think ongoing education and why conventions are more important now than they ever have been. Let's talk about that. My name's Mark Helm, and I'm the author of Creating Wealth Through Self-Storage, and I'm the creator of the Quick Start Academy. And the Quick Start Academy houses the on-demand self-storage boot camp. And in this boot camp, we'll take you from wherever you are to putting your first or your next self-storage facility into service in today's market. All the tools and resources that we use are there, and it's the flagship training that I offer. But let's talk about why I think conventions in 2021 are going to be very important. I can remember meeting the first person I ever knew in the self-storage industry in the mid-90s. He was the acquisition director for a REIT, and as a real estate agent, I was helping him find projects in our marketplace. And I remember him telling me that the self-storage business is a slow, boring business, and the last big innovation we had in the industry was climate control space. Fast forward 25 years, that is not the case. This industry is evolving fast, it's growing and changing real fast, and the large institutional players, the REITs, are the ones driving the change. The REITs are very sophisticated when it comes to finding deals, analyzing trade areas, and running their facilities. As a small investor, we have got to keep up and stay on top of what's happening in the industry in order to be relevant and compete with the larger players. And we can do it. And nothing has been a game changer in the self-storage business, at least on the operations side, like the last 12 months have been. That's why I think going to a convention, or at least virtually going, is going to be very important in 2021 for the small investor and the small operator. In my opinion, it does not matter where you are in the growth or evolution of your self-storage business. Seeing what are best practices, what other operators are doing, and what the changes and trends are in the industry has never been more important than it is today. Now, part of the reason I do these episodes is so that as small investors we can keep up with and compete effectively with larger players. And we have a lot of advantages they don't have. We're small, we're nimble, we can test, we can change tactics very quickly, and we don't have huge infrastructures to deal with as we're implementing changes. Even aspects of competing with these larger players that I've feared most, which is primarily online marketing, because these larger companies have a lot of money they can throw at online marketing, buying space, buying AdWords. And I have a friend of mine in a very competitive market that is dominated by Reits, and I was lamenting that it's very hard that you just can't beat these guys at their game on online marketing. And I remember him saying to me, well, why can't I beat them? And sure enough, he has. He is outperforming the large players on cost per click, the percentage of people who view his ads over the competition's ads, all of the metrics that we measure in online marketing. He is performing with or outperforming the larger players, and is doing very well in his lease up, at least square footage wise, competing with these larger players. And I was reminded once again the hard way that the biggest limitation that we have in life, and particularly in business, is not the competition, is not the marketplace, but it's our own thinking that gets in the way of our success. He reminded me of that. We're now taking on these large competitors in markets in lease-up situations and holding our own with them now. Perhaps you could go to a convention this year with the intent of how to excel and win in online marketing. Perhaps that could be one of the goals you go to a convention with this year. I believe that no matter how high tech or no touch our industry gets, relationships are still going to be the key to success in business. And I have almost every relationship I have with vendors and with people in the self-storage industry came from meeting them at these conventions. I go by the booths, I see what they have to offer. I meet with people one-on-one. I learn what others are doing and find better ways to run my and our self-storage business. I found everything from better light packages to better ways to analyze trade areas, how to restore doors, how to improve our customer experience, all from going to these conventions and getting the education. And it has never been, in my opinion, more important than it is today, this year perhaps, to do that. So here's my suggestion on how to show up at one of these trade shows or conventions. We've got 2 national ones coming up this year we'll talk about in a minute. But when I go with one or two very specific things that I want to focus on, learn about, and improve in my operations. I've shown up looking for how to improve our reporting to our investors. I've shown up looking how I can improve analyzing trade areas or sub-markets. I've shown up looking for how can I compete effectively online with the larger players. So I'll show up with 1 or 2 very specific goals and be looking for and listening for that. And also be aware to be looking for and listening for 1 or 2 things you don't know that can really improve your business. An example of that is how we measure customer-centric behavior when we're doing price increases. I never even considered doing that, but went to a convention, heard a speaker talk about it, and we began implementing certain when we see certain behaviors out of customers, we know that customer is ripe for a price increase. So the ISS, Inside Self-Storage Convention, is coming up July 13th through 16th. I will be there. I'm doing some of the training. I'll have a booth, but mostly I'll be networking and going to the educational sessions myself. The Self-Storage Association is also having a storage convention in Las Vegas, September 7th through 10th. I will most likely be at that convention as well, going through training and learning and showing up so that I can keep my self-storage business relevant in today's fast-changing market. So given the last year we've had, how the industry has changed over the past 12 months, I just thought I'd do an episode because I think it's very critical for us to stay up on industry trends, what's going on, and seeing what's new and evolving in the self-storage business. If you see me there, feel free to come up and talk. I'm interested in how you're doing and the successes and challenges you're having as you're getting in or growing your self-storage business. This is the best business for us as small investors to be in. I hope to see you on the road somewhere in the self-storage industry, and perhaps it'll be this year at a convention somewhere. So thank you very much. My name's Mark Helm. I'm the author of Creating Wealth Through Self-Storage, and I'm the creator of the Storage World Analyzer. That's the financial analysis tool we use as we analyze self-storage deals and look at putting them into service. You can find out more about it at creatingwealththroughselfstorage.com or thestorageworldanalyzer.com. Thank you. I look forward to seeing you on the self-storage road somewhere. See you later.